Good afternoon. Okay. Okay, let's see if I can find, nature molds the present unconsciously from past accumulations through its conscious mirror. Nature's movements are deliberated into dance. Sounds are forged into music forms, into architecture, matter, into thought. And finally, her most delicate creation, man, a looking glass.
For many, being an Olympian would define their legacy. For Phil Reavis, born in Somerville in the 1930s, it was the launching pad to a lifetime of service. A teacher, a mentor, the driving force behind the city's Recreation Commission.
Macau moved like a hog carrier, from shouldering a Pacific miracle, cocooned in cement.
The embodiment of determination, Phil set world records in the high jump, earning him a scholarship to Villanova. His athleticism took him as far as Australia to compete and landed him on the cover of Sports Illustrated in 1958. High-flying Phil Reavis, as he was nicknamed, always returned to Somerville to give back. In 2023, after traveling the world, Somerville is loving him back by naming the brand new high school field in his honor.
And so when you come back to Somerville, what's it like for you to be back here?
Well, I kind of walk around Somerville. It was at the Western Junior High School. Is where I learned to high jump. Mm-hmm. And that was because they have playgrounds in Somerville. Are booming. They're very active, all ages. And I was babysitting my younger brother. Well, I couldn't do it in the street or a sidewalk, so I decided, well, let me go up to the playground. We took him up to the playground, and then I could just let him go. And I always would have him at a distance. And then one of the directors came over, and we were talking. They said, oh, you should, join us. And he says, do you high jump? And I said, no, because I didn't, So he taught me the scissor kick. At the end of the summer, they have the big thing at Trum Field. And at Trum Field, you have this playground, so it's almost like a little Olympics, the way they have it. So I high jumped there and I won it at 5'8", and I really got attached to that event. Now, so let me tell you, if it wasn't for Somerville, I would have never made the Olympics, because I would have never been part of the competition. So I used to even go up to the playgrounds and just practice on my own. Practice, and I got better and better and better. When I came to the high school, I was in the school team, I was the high jumper. I found myself I could win against Arlington or, the different cities. And then they had competition, and it was at this particular meet that I jumped 6'6" and a half. And I had been working on changing, this is okay to one point, but I still can't go much higher. So in a magazine, I saw a shot of an Olympian going over, and instead of like this, he goes like this. And I figured, this is it. So I practiced, so when I hit that little place where all the dirigibles were, I did 6'6" and a half. And then the phone started to ring.
And how important do you feel it is that this field is named after you, a black man whose grandfather, like you said, came from slavery and gave you and your family the world?
Well, one part of my ancestors, one would say it's about time. But no, they would love it. They would be extremely proud. Yeah. Because, see, the thing is, anyone that's familiar with Somerville know that playgrounds, fields, and everything else are useful.
Yeah.
You know, they're not drying up in the sun somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they'll, look, if they do the same things that they do in the playground, to do it on the field, it can only be good.
This is a momentous occasion. Somerville High School has long operated without a practice field on site. But that changes right here, right now. We're dedicating this practice field in honor of a remarkable individual, Philip Reavis Sr.
It's very, very special. I grew up in Somerville myself, so there's a real deep appreciation for what the city is and what it's become. He always references Somerville and everything it gave him and how proud he is. Today, Mr. Reavis, we look at you, sir, and we are forever grateful for everything you've given to our city.
It's an honor today to present this jacket to Phil Reavis. I'd like to thank both the History Club and the Somerville Museum for exposing his personal story to us.
I want to thank everyone here for its creation of playgrounds. When I first came to Somerville, you could hear, at that time we called it noise everywhere. You walk on one street, you got a noise up the street. You go by, what is it? It's a playground, which I think is one of the basic fundamental things of athletics. I found myself going up to the Shaw Playground to practice almost every day. I became very active with many of the activities. Little did I realize how important these games, exercises, would prepare me to become a good athlete.